Hi ladies, this is Krista and welcome to the Feminine Takeoff. This video today is actually going to be on how to be purpose driven and still remain feminine. So it is a common conception that femininity rests, right? But rest does not have to equate to being idle and doing absolutely nothing. So in this video, I will be sharing some points with you on how to maintain your femininity, rest, be gentle, be soft, be well put together, and still have purpose and still be purpose driven. You can do both. Once you embrace your femininity, you don't have to be stuck in the rat race of being masculine. You can still have your goals, achieve your goals, but do it with more femininity. Do it to what may even seem to people like it is effortless. So let's get started, shall we, ladies? Ladies, you all have to forgive me. I am traveling for work and I have not slept in almost 24 hours. I am exhausted, but I've decided that I want to honor the commitments that I've set out for myself. If I don't want to honor them, I will not set them. But since I've set them for myself, I will be honoring them. And one of those commitments very much is showing up on video, doing this talk video with you all. But forgive me, my voice is just not going to be so animated because I really am so exhausted. Anyway, back to the video. So one example that I want to share about how when you're resting or when you're feminine, it may seem like you're not doing anything, but you're actually doing so much. Oftentimes, a woman who is ultra feminine, it seems like she's not doing anything, okay? It seems like when she is being gentle, she's being feminine and soft, she's just being just that. But no one really sees what is happening in the background. Kind of like a duck, right? When you see a duck on the water, the legs are paddling, there's so many things happening, things are moving so quickly, but to a normal person, to the ignorant eye even, you would say, it just looks like that duck is elegantly swimming on the water and so on and forth. And so in a nutshell, that is what being productive and being feminine, or a productive feminine being, might look like to some people. And I would also want to give an example. Imagine a pregnant woman or a mother, right? Oftentimes when I think of femininity, I think of Mother Nature. I think of like our universe. I think of our earth, our world, our nature even, or simply a pregnant woman, okay? So when you see a pregnant woman resting, do you look at her and say, oh, she's doing absolutely nothing? No, you do not. Why is that? Because this pregnant woman, even in her rest, even if she's sleeping or even if she's not doing anything, she is still creating life. She's creating future generations. Even when you look at like our galaxy, I don't know if you ever see like photos from NASA's or even videos or photos that were taken, it looks like the galaxy is just standing there, right? Doing nothing. Maybe it's expanding, maybe it's not, it's hard to see. It's hard to see, right? Well, that is exactly how femininity is, especially when you are being productive, okay? You are moving at such a fast speed, but you're also moving at such an intentional speed that it's not necessarily obvious to the naked eye or to the ignorant eye, okay? Or at least that's what we want it to seem like. So I've created 6 points. I want to say 6 or 7 points, but I think it's 6. So I've created 6 points to talk about how to maintain your femininity and how to also be purpose-driven and productive while you are at it. So ladies, let's truly begin now. So point number 1 in how to stay feminine while purpose-driven is avoid gossip. Avoid gossip like it is the plague. Anything that is happening in the news that is bashing somebody else or that is not productive or constructive to you, avoid it. Any friend who calls you and say, oh, what are you doing today? Oh, nothing. I'm just reading the latest news about this celebrity that probably doesn't even know who you are or who that person is. But yet you are spending so much energy. Your feminine energy is such an important resource. Please do not waste it gossiping about something or someone else, and avoid people who do that. They're not productive. Anytime someone is brought up, it should truly be brought up for your inspiration. Okay, when you are gossiping, I don't even want to use gossiping, but when you bring up someone outside of you who's not yourself, you should be bringing that person up and saying, oh my god, they just opened a new business, they just did their hair this way, I wonder if that hairstyle will look more feminine on me when I try it, or whatever it is. Whenever you bring a topic up, whether it is someone or a thing, let that topic be productive to you. Let that topic be inspirational to your betterment, to your well-being. If it is not, simply just drop it, ladies. It is not useful to gossip in vain. It's just not good for you. So now, point number 2 in how to remain feminine while being purpose driven. Point number 2 is have an idea or plan, self-check-in. Okay, I say that because even I have fallen victim to this. Sometimes when you have a purpose, you have a goal, but you don't self-check in, what happens is that you will find yourself taking 5 years to complete a 2-year goal. Okay, or you will find yourself in a relationship that takes like so much time out of you that could have been avoided after 3 months or 6 months grace period, when whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, whatever milestone, engagement, or whatever you're trying to achieve in that relationship, when it doesn't work out. So again, in point number 2, when I say have an idea and self-check-in, let's say that you have a 4-year graduation plan or a course that you have enrolled yourself in, and you know that it takes 4 years. You should be self-checking in, self-assessing every semester, every grading period, every quarter, every year. And time passing by can give the illusion of progression or advancement. So I meet so many people, even I have fallen victim to this in some areas of my life, where I think, okay, I have this 2-year goal, or I have this 6-month goal, and then I am not self-checking in, and life is happening. Okay, this bill happens, this accident happen, this person gets sick, this thing takes my attention, this date comes in, this guy comes in and wants to date me, this guy comes in and wants to propose, this guy comes in and wants to get married, and so many things happen, and all the meanwhile, time is still passing by. Okay, ladies, time is still, January comes, February comes, July. Okay, I think I'm saying my months not in arrangement, but forgive me, ladies. I count my months. I count, and I also say my months in French, one of my first languages. So it's really sometimes hard for me to like say it's January to December in English. I have to say it in French and then translate it. Otherwise, my brain does this weird thing. But anyway, all you'll notice is that you have this goal, but all these things are happening. Next thing you know, oh my God, excuse me, ladies. Let me just drink my tea. So what I mean to say is, when time goes by, you can easily confuse that for advancement. All right, so if you have a 6-month goal, and then 3 months into that goal, you check in and you're like, I'm not halfway through, but time has gone halfway through, then you start to think, what is the problem? Okay, let's say even when you're in a job, you're like, I need to save this much money. You start the job, you're getting the consistent paycheck, but you're not saving because maybe you're going out, you're having fun, or you're just distracted, or life is just happening. Maybe bills are coming about that are not supposed to come up, that emergencies are happening. Or let's say that you start dating someone and you're like, by this time I would like to see these results, and then halfway down the time you don't see the results, but the time has halfway passed. Then what is the problem? That is when you self-check in, when you have an idea or plan and you self-check in that idea or plan, you will always have an idea of what's going on, and you can say, wait a minute, I am not on the path that I thought I was on, or I don't want to be on this path anymore. But you can only get to that conclusion when you are self-checking in, when you are checking in your plan and saying, am I still on the path that I started myself on? Okay, ladies. So point number 3 now, let's move on to point number 3, how to be feminine while still being purpose-driven or goal-driven. Point number 3 is, do not wait till you are exhausted to rest, okay? Ladies, even God rests. Okay, I know things happen. For example, me right now, I'm traveling, I'm exhausted, but I'm still going, right? However, I'm taking time to rest. Once I finish this video, I'm gonna go take a nice warm shower. My groceries are gonna be delivered, and then I'm gonna go to bed. All right, so don't wait until you are exhausted to rest, because then you're not resting, you're crashing. And the harder you crash, the more difficult it's going to be to recover from that crash and then truly rest, ladies. So just remember that. Just remember to take time to rest. Don't lead yourself to full exhaustion before you need to rest. Even God created the world, the seas, everything, us humans, and then he rested in the Bible. And also remember, just because you're resting doesn't mean you're not doing anything. As long as you are, again, purposeful about it, you're replenishing yourself. But remember that you are not a slave on some plantation. No one is watching you with the whip, and so you have to like act like you're busy, or you have to earn your keep. Okay, you don't need to earn your keep. You don't need to look busy while running around doing absolutely nothing just to please other people. Okay, so just remember to rest. And if you feel like you found yourself in a situation where you have to drive yourself to exhaustion before you can rest, before someone can acknowledge that you are putting in the effort, the hard work, try to get yourself out of that situation. Let it be a job, let it be a relationship, let it be whatever. So try to stay away from people who need to see you completely drained, completely exhausted, replenished, before they can say, oh my God, you're exhausted now. You've put in the work, now you go rest. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a necessary standard thing. And ladies, rest restores, gives you clarity, centers you, and enlightens you. Okay, so if you're not resting, you're not restoring yourself. You're not going to have that time to even be enlightened, to continue creation. So remember my first point earlier when I said, when you think of femininity, you think of a woman, you think of Mother Nature, Earth. Well, Earth, Mother Nature, everything, all of that needs some kind of clarity, some kind of enlightenment in order to continue creation. You cannot continue creation to create anything if you're creating from a place of emptiness and lack and exhaustion. Maybe you would be able to, but it is so much. Sorry ladies, my light died. Even my light needs rest. You see, everything needs rest. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I was just finishing point number 3. So rest, replenish, regulates, clarifies, and even enlightens your mind, your nervous system, your femininity overall, if you're doing it right. So when you are resting properly, you are actually bettering yourself. It's kind of like you're laying the foundation, the bricks down for a better life, for a better platform for you to create, to deliver the best version of yourself and deliver the best version of whatever it is that you are meant to create. Why do they tell pregnant people to rest and take it easy? Of course, exercise, of course, get things done, but there is still beauty in resting, because when you are creating, it's not only always about the hustle, doing this and looking like the struggle. Okay, just because you're creating, getting things done, doesn't mean you need to look like something bad. The point of why I even bring all of this up is when you are in your femininity journey and you are purpose driven, try not to get all the way behind before needing to replenish. And let's just say that you're going up a hill and you're planning on going down a hill. Are you going to start planning on weight, your brakes, and all of that while you're going down the hill? No, you're gonna need to, before you even go up the hill, or while you're up on the hill, before you start going down, you need to start thinking, can my brakes handle this? Because I'm going to be descending at a really fast speed. Can my car handle this? Do I have enough resources to make sure if I go too fast, I don't crash, right? So you want to stop yourself while you are ahead. You want to stop yourself and replenish and take care of yourself while you can. So when you rest, it's not like you are doing a back pay of lack of resting. When you rest, it's like, oh, we were okay, but now we're replenishing. So now we can pick back up where we left off, or we're steps ahead. Again, point number 3, just to summarize, try not to wait until you're exhausted before you rest. Okay? Rest when you can, rest adequately. When you rest, when you're sleeping or resting or not even doing anything but just lounging, that involves resting. It's not that you're not doing anything, but you're replenishing yourself. Listen to an audiobook. Listen to something that betters you. So now let's move on to point number 4. Point number 4 is the speed of your purpose doesn't need to make sense to other people. Even you developing in your mother's womb took time. It took time for the galaxy to expand, the universe to expand, to create our galaxy. It took time for Earth. It took billions of years for Earth to go through evolution, to get rid of the dinosaurs, for us to have the ideal conditions. Okay, ladies? So because of that, everything that is purposeful needs time. And so don't get so caught up when someone comes up to you and say, hey, you've been working on this for such a long time. Unless they're coming from a place of like true caring and endearment, don't let discouraging people come to you and say, oh, you've been working on this for a long time, why has it not come to fruition? They should be taking that energy of curiosity and putting it onto themselves. If they put that much energy on you, imagine how far they will go if only they had put that kind of energy on themselves. Okay, so don't be discouraged when you run into people like that. Things take time, and your speed doesn't have to make sense to people. It only has to make sense to you and your creator, your God, or whatever that means to you. Heck, it even took God 7 days to complete creation and rest. So things take time, and 7 days to God might be completely different than 7 days to humans. 7 days to God might mean billions of years to us humans. It's hard to say, you know what I mean? But again, just understand that whatever you are on, whatever timeline, whatever purpose you're on, you don't have to compare, there is no rush. As long as you yourself understand the trajectory of your life, where you're going, what you're doing, the timeline doesn't have to make sense to other people. Okay, sometimes, I kid you not, guys, people tell me that I'm slow. If you ever see me in person, those of you who know me in person, when I'm in public, and not only in public, in just overall, there are sometimes parts of me that I move incredibly slow. If I'm brushing my hair, if I'm getting ready, I'm putting my makeup on, I move incredibly slow. But oftentimes also, I move at the speed of light. One moment, I'm just getting out of the shower and doing my makeup. Next moment, I'm at work. And the people who call me and they're like, oh, we're already ready, we're having breakfast, I beat them to our point of meeting. I beat them to getting to the destination. So it doesn't necessarily always have to make sense. Where you look like you're moving slow, you're actually setting things up for your future self. Okay, it doesn't have to make sense to other people. Or another example is, sometimes when I'm doing my own nails, it takes me such a long time because first I need it to be perfect. If I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna put my name on it, it has to look good. So if I'm doing my gel, curing it, it takes so long. But my nails, it is very, very rare for my nails that I do myself to break. It never breaks. I could go horseback riding, which I do. I could do activities. I can travel. I can do whatever I need to do on this planet. My nails will never break. Why? Because of the initial time that I've taken to pour into making it, okay? It doesn't only have to be your nails. It could be a career path. It could be a goal. Even my YouTube channel. Oh my God, it is taking me so long to grow this channel. Okay, but so long to me might mean so long to different people. I usually grow followers like at least a follower a day, but I've been stuck at my follower count currently for like, it feels like a month, okay? Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it's taking me so much. I'm putting so much effort, but I'm sure when it takes off, when it blows up, it will all make sense. It's all gonna be worth it, okay? You know, someone called me recently today just to catch up, and I was telling them, oh, I'm working on my channel. And they're like, oh, is it growing? And I was like, no, not really. And then I overheard them giggling in the background. And this person, I don't think they mean harm, but I get it. You know, I'm like, sometimes I don't drink anymore. I don't party anymore. I work, I pour into myself, my family, and I try to make these YouTube videos. So that has been my life since I started this channel. So sometimes people are like, you're abstaining from all these things, and yet you're not blowing up. Yet is a keyword. So again, ladies, point number 4, your timeline, the trajectory of your goal, your purpose doesn't have to make sense to other people. So that's how you stay feminine and still goal driven. So now let's move on to point number 5. Point number 5 is, I recently heard that anything good in this life requires sacrifice. And I'm not sure how I felt about that. At first I was like, you know, there's some truth to it. And then I said, but this universe is so abundant. Like, how do I have to sacrifice? And then I thought, everything good requires sacrifice, right? But you, feminine ladies, you get to pick what you are sacrificing. It doesn't have to be a bad sacrifice. It doesn't have to be negative sacrifice. Sacrifice can be sacrificing your pain. So in order for you to have a peaceful life, you have to sacrifice your pain. You have to let go of that thing that ruminates in your mind, that upsets you and puts you in a bad mood, and that doesn't allow you to grow, okay? You have to sacrifice the people in your life who are negative naysayers, who put you down. You have to sacrifice all the bad things in your life. It's still a sacrifice, isn't it? But you get to pick, and it's not a bad sacrifice. You get to sacrifice your procrastination. You get to sacrifice your self-doubts, your negative thoughts. You get to sacrifice anything or anyone who doesn't serve you, who is taking away from your peace. You're sacrificing, right? But it can be a positive thing. So again, ladies, point number 5 in how to maintain and keep your femininity and still be goal driven is that you get to choose your sacrifice. Maybe if everything good in this life requires sacrifice, your sacrifice can be good things that you are supposed to let go anyway. It is your say. You have full sovereignty over this. All right, ladies. Now, final points. Let's move on to point number 6. Speaking of sovereignty, point number 6 is understand that you have full sovereignty over yourself. You have full sovereignty over your reactions, your actions, how you take life's lemons, and what you choose to do with them, okay? Even when you are in a union, in a marriage, I truly believe you also have full sovereignty. I've been engaged before, and each time I was ready to give my husband, my future husband, the leadership role. There is a difference between being led and someone have sovereignty over you. Someone can have leadership over you. So for me, I truly believe when I am married, or even leading up to my marriage, my husband will be the head of our household. I'm going to trust him and respect him to lead us. However, I and him would understand that I still have full sovereignty over myself. Ladies, if you don't think you have full sovereignty over yourself, whether it's because a job is taking it, a relationship is taking it, or whatever circumstances is taking it, I need to ask yourself, why do I not have full sovereignty over myself? Or why do I think I don't have full sovereignty over myself? how did I get here and what can I do about it? Sometimes our lives can just advance when we ask ourselves these simple why, what, and how questions. Okay, ladies? So have the understanding that you have full sovereignty over yourself. This is the only way you can be truly feminine and truly purpose given. All right, ladies, thank you so much for taking time to watch my video. Oh my God, forgive me if I look tired or I look like I'm rushing through this. I really just need to sleep. But anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for taking time to comment on my previous videos. It really helps me a lot, and it really helps the algorithm spread my channel, and I'm so appreciative of it. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I love your questions. I love your suggestions. I love to hear it. It makes me so happy. Even if it's one comment, I get so excited to respond to you, ladies. So I am so grateful and so excited that you are taking your time to watch me, to interact with me, and to continue or start your femininity journey. Thank you so much for watching me here with the Feminine Takeoff. As always, we take off to better ourselves. Mwah.